everyone, and welcome to another edition of Film Ventures. Today I've got the movie The Maze Runner, which is based off a book that I have not read. So I know virtually nothing about the context of the story. All I know is what I've seen from the trailer, so that's all I've got. And you know what? Sometimes that's a good thing. You know, sometimes it's great to have as much information, much background and research and all that. But sometimes it's also good to know nothing about the context of the story, in case of film, because it may do nothing to your, or it may be something different for your movie experience. This is kind of the mentality I have for The Hunger Games. I've only read some of the footnotes on The Hunger Games, but I know nothing about the actual story or how the plot goes from detail to detail and how it differs from the movie. I like that because it just gives me a different perspective on the film. So that's where I'm going in with The Maze Runner. As far as I can tell from the previews, at first it looked like your everyday movie that wants to be, it's based off a book and it wants to be the next Lord of the Rings or wants to be the next Hunger Games. In this case, I want to say it's the next Hunger Games because I feel like it's kind of advertised as such. It's a lot like Ender's Game. It wasn't exactly like the Hunger Games, but it was advertised with the same ideas and concepts and all that stuff. I felt like there was just something that felt like the Hunger Games had some inspiration to it. So that's how I feel about The Maze Runner. So that's what it looked like, and it didn't look like anything that really had my full attention. I was like, okay, whatever. But as time went on, it looked more and more interesting, and as I hear more things about the film, I've heard some good buzz. It has my interest. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how this plays out. But then again, I'm usually curious about most films. So, it's just that general curiosity. So, I guess I can't use that as just a means of interest. But we'll see. We'll see how this movie plays out. So, that's all I've got right now. So, you guys just wait there for a couple seconds, and I'll come back with my reaction to The Maze Runner. And just like that, I'm back from The Maze Runner. And I think I liked it. I'll be fair, it's not at the level of, say, Lord of the Rings or even The Hunger Games, but it's good. It's a lot like Ender's Game was like last year. It gets you right into it. It really does. It just, as soon as the film starts, you're there. You are in that maze. I mean, there's no prologue, there's no explanation, it just throws you right in there. But that's not to say that's a bad thing. In fact, I think that's actually a positive note for the film, is that while it throws you right into the film, right into the story, it explains itself pretty well. It gets you right into everything that you need to know. It really does. There really is no confusion, despite the fact that there is a mystery to this film, and it does keep you guessing, and that's a good thing. It does have you, it has you guessing all the way through. Now, there's a twist to the movie, and you could probably see it coming, that there's going to be at least a twist, and as twists go, it's probably not the most memorable twist you'll ever see in a film, but it's still good. It's still understandable. I thought it kept me guessing, it kept me sitting there trying to figure out what was going to happen or not. And while this is going on, you really get to know these characters. You really get to know these kids, these teenagers. And they're not those cliched kind of characters. I mean, yeah, you've got like the character who's like doesn't like the main guy. He's like, he doesn't trust him and all that. Actually, that surprisingly turns out a little differently than it normally does. But everybody's pretty understandable. You can understand where these characters are coming from, who they are, and why they act the way they do. Why they have to, figure out how to survive. I like that. Actually, I think it's that survival theme to the film that gives it, that is the only thing that's a little similar to The Hunger Games, to some degree. Fortunately, it's not like a complete ripoff or anything like that. Now, I've never read the book, as I pointed out earlier, so there's probably differences from this in the actual story. If you know them, feel free to comment, because I don't. I just saw this as a film, and for what it was, I thought it was pretty good. I like the characters. I like I already pointed out, I like that they weren't just cliches, but I think everybody here had a good performance. I'm not familiar with a lot of them, and I have to get onto like IMDb and Wikipedia and figure out who all these people are. One of the people I knew was Newt, and the only reason why I know him is because of Game of Thrones. And I just saw the guy's name, and I can't. It'll click eventually, but yeah, I thought everybody was pretty good. I liked the supporting cast. I liked the lead male character. I thought he had a strong performance. He's pretty much your standard main character for these kind of movies. You know, he's the guy who is the one who's, you know, our guide to this world. He's the guy who has to show us the way and all that. And he does a good job. And I thought he had a pretty good performance. The only weak point in the cast, I hate to say, is the female character. And it's sad because she's the only female character. And the reason why I say this isn't because she does a bad job. Not to say she's the best in the group, but she's not terrible. It's that she has like one purpose, and that's about it. Aside from that, she doesn't have a whole lot of character. And that was a bit distracting, but just takes away from the character element of the movie. But aside from that, the group was pretty good. The ensemble was interesting. Or just, as I said, understandable. These characters made sense to me. But I really like the maze. I like the maze. It's just different. I like the way it worked. I like the world that it created. In its own way, it was its own character. It was, you know, it almost felt ominous at times. Like at the beginning when it first opens and you just hear these sounds. And it sounds just like it's something you'd hear in a horror film. I just thought there was a lot of character to that maze. Also, I think the film has a great score. I'm not familiar with the composer, but I really enjoyed the score to this film. Really helped with those scenes. Really did. So, I don't know how to say this for Maze Runner fans people who've read the book. You know who you are. You know who you are. I don't know where this ranges from the book or not, but as a movie, I really liked it. I thought it was a good film. And for what it wasn't something that was just another rendition. You know, we get those a lot, and sometimes they're pretty mediocre. But every now and again, we get a surprise, and this is one of those cases. So, I recommend checking it out this weekend. I know there's a lot of movies that come out this weekend, and if you've got nothing else better to do, I say check out the Maze Runner. So that's going to do it for this edition of Film Ventures. Be sure to check out the official Something Cinematic review on the Something Cinematic YouTube channel. And next time I am having a reaction video, it will be for next week, and that sounds really weird in a sentence. It's going to be for the Box Trolls. That's next week, so stay tuned for that. This has been another edition of Film Ventures. Now go to the movies.